Good evening and welcome to the World Now at 4. I am Aidnan Lubem. First, let's talk the headlines. On the headlines, Jonathan gets new international appointment. EU and UN envoy discusses Sudan peace process in Juba. On the world stage, Israel to deport Palestinian lawyer to France. On sports, Eagles named the most valuable team in Africa. And now the news in detail. Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan has been appointed as Africa's ambassador for African Agricultural Technology Foundation, that is the AATF. A statement by the communications officer of AATF, Felix Abutu, shortly after a meeting with the former president in Yenagoa, quoted the executive director, Kasignos Kanagiri, saying the appointment was informed by former president's track record of championing agricultural transformation in the continent. Kanagiri said that the Jonathan's commitment to uplift agriculture on the continent was exemplified by the agricultural transformation agenda he pursued and diligently implemented in Nigeria during his tenure as president. The statement further revealed that by the transformation, the agenda he pursued and diligently implemented in Nigeria during his tenure as president. The Ekiti State, through the wife of the governor, Olayemi Oyebanji, says the state will establish and equip gender codes in the state as one of the ways to ending gender-based violence, which he describes as a hydra-headed problem. Olayemi said that the new GBV required a multidimensional solution involving a multi-sectoral approach, adding that the government would look into existing structures to resolve new challenges. The governor's wife stated this in an interactive session with newsmen in Ado-Ekiti as part of activities marking the 2022 edition of the 16 Days of Activism of No Violence Against Women and Children. She said the government will ensure that they gazette all public policy laws and also review some of the laws to include whistleblowers and sexual violence crime protection and mandatory reporting, among others. A one-story building located on Odense Street in the Abakaliki metropolis has been gutted by fire. The fire incident, which started at about 1:30 p.m. on Friday, has left many tenants of the affected building devastated. Sources said the incident was a result of a surge in the voltage of the electricity supply in the area, which happened intermittently between 9 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. before the incident started. One of the tenants of the burnt property, Onuibu, said the heavy nature of the fire hindered him from salvaging any of his belongings from the building. The controller of the Ebonyi State Fire Service, Ibiam Raffel, confirmed the incident, saying no work was still ongoing to eventually put the fires off. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now to news from other parts of Africa. A special meeting of South Africa's ruling African National Congress, highest decision-making body, has been adjourned just 45 minutes after the meeting started. ANC Treasurer General Paul Mashatile said the officials decided that they want the report to be circulated to members of the party's National Working Committee first, to allow the officials to read and process the report. He said the executive committee will then meet before December 6 to discuss the report. Mashatile also said the ANC regards this matter as an urgent matter. It was set to discuss a damning report against Ramaphosa after it was found that he may have violated his constitutional duty as president of the country. This is in relation to the burglary in which foreign currency was stolen from his private game farm back in 2020. ANC chairman Gwede Mantashe said he believes it would be premature for Ramaphosa to resign before the report is interrogated. Still talking stories from Africa. On the fringes of East Africa Street Bloc session in Juba on Thursday, the UN envoy for Sudan discussed the peace process in Khartoum 2 years after the signing of the Juba Peace Agreement by the former Sudanese military civilian power-sharing government and various rebel groups. Protocols have made little headway. The UN envoy for Sudan's press conference took place after he met with representatives of the African Union and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, that is IGAD, as well as non-state stakeholders who are not part of the Juba peace meeting. And moving away to other parts of the world, Russia says the West's refusal to recognize new territories seized from Ukraine makes peace talks harder, after President Joe Biden indicated he would be ready to meet Vladimir Putin. The Kremlin said it was open to negotiations but not on the West's demand to pull out of Ukraine. Russia illegally annexed 4 Ukrainian regions at the end of September without controlling any of them. 9 months into its invasion, it has lost more than half of the land it seized. President Biden told reporters on Thursday night that he was ready to meet the Russian leader if in fact there is an interest in him deciding that he's looking for a way to end the war. Standing beside him in the White House, France Emmanuel Macron made clear the two men had agreed that they would never urge the Ukrainians to make a compromise that would not be acceptable to them. The apparent flurry of diplomatic activity followed months with little sign of enthusiasm for talks. Russia's military has been forced into its retreat in southern Ukraine while launching widespread attacks on civilian infrastructure. An Israeli group has disclosed that a Palestinian French human rights lawyer who Israel has stripped of his Jerusalem residency is at risk of imminent deportation. Hammoked said it had been informed that Salah Hamouri's detention without charge would not be renewed on Friday. It comes after Israel's Supreme Court rejected an appeal against the decision to revoke his residency on the grounds of breach of allegiance. Israel accuses Hamouri of belonging to a terrorist group, which he denies. Amnesty International's Middle East Director Heba Morayev said Salah Hamouri has already spent 9 months in administrative detention without charge or trial this year in retaliation for his tireless campaigning for an end to Israel's apartheid against Palestinians. These latest plans are not only a shameless attempt to hinder Salah's human rights work, they are also an expression of the Israeli authorities' chilling long-term policy aim of reducing the number of Palestinians in East Jerusalem. Administrative detention allows suspects to be held without charge or trial for 6-month interval and can be renewed indefinitely. And now to business news. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has expressed concern that the slow growth in the economy is hindering the prospect of establishing a strong fiscal space and buoyant foreign reserve. In a statement issued during the week and made available to newsmen, the association claimed that despite the higher oil prices as well as the improvement in terms of trade, the expansion of the growth of the Nigerian economy remains sluggish above the population growth rate. MAN noted that while fiscal indiscipline, heightened insecurity, slow COVID-19 recovery, oil theft, and the war-induced energy crisis were the lingering factors driving the economy headwinds. Recent environmental and climatic challenges are significantly leaving a negative mark. Still on world business, Japan, Britain and Italy have concluded plans to merge the British-led Tempest jet fighter project with Japan's FX fighter program in the development of a new advanced jet fighter. Sources say the announcement for the groundbreaking agreement will be made before Japan releases a new national security strategy and military procurement plan around mid-December. Still to come on World Now at 4 is sports news. Stay with us.
welcome to Sports News on World Now at 4. I am Daniel Obasi. Nasarawa State has picked up another medal at the Sport Festival ongoing in Asaba State. The trio of Agada Elijah, Isa Amadu, and Agada Otu won bronze medal in the Taekwondo games down there in the team's event. Team Nasarawa now has 2 medals, both being bronze medal, while the host state Delta still leads with 3 gold medals. And away from action in Asaba, let's take you away where, despite missing out on the ongoing 2022 World Cup in Qatar, the Super Eagles have moved up in the latest financial rankings of national teams, having gotten a lot of things up in the ranking. The three-time African champions are ranked the 15th most valuable international team globally, which also means moving from the position third in Nigeria and also in Africa, becoming the most valuable team on the continent. The Eagles boast players who ply their trades in Europe's top-flight lucrative leagues, meaning most of them have gotten some lucrative movement and also playing in valuable teams with a total value of 303 million euros. In October, they were placed 21st with a market value of over 200 million euros. The Nigerian squad's value witnessed an increase of over 48.7 million euros, compared to the squad's previous value. Prior to the latest ranking, Senegal, who were the most valuable African team and the 14th in the world with a value of over 321 million euros, are now fourth in Africa. And bringing more stories, it has been reported that Brazilian legend has been hospitalized once again following a diagnosis of a colon tumor. The three-time world champion was reportedly hospitalized once again in his native Brazil. Over away from Brazil now to more stories where Spain staggered into the round of 16 after losing to Japan by 2-1 honorably in Group E. It would be recalled that Group E, which hosts the likes of Germany, Costa Rica, as well as Spain and also Morocco, saw a lot of actions go down. Spain has second in the group, with Japan leading that group and also qualifying for the knockout phases. And that's Sports News and World Now at 4. Back to Ainan Lubem for the rest of the news. I am Daniel Obasi.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. And that's the World Now at 4 on Hills TV. But before we go, a quick look at the top stories once again. Earlier on the headlines, we told you that former president gets new appointment. We also told you ahead of the 2023 elections, INEC appoints new Jonathan gets new international appointment. UN envoy discusses Sudan peace process in Juba. Israel to deport Palestinian lawyer to France. On sports, Eagles named most valuable team in Africa. Remember to visit us on our social media pages at Hills TV, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channel. I am Aidnan Lubem. Thank you for watching.